Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. This is the sketch that we will be creating today, and the sketch is by Jessica Fenn Hill. And I think I'm going to end up rotating it because I have two horizontal photos and she has two vertical, which is perfect because I can rotate it, and I'm just not sure which way I'm going to rotate it just yet. So what I have is I have two cut apart cards as well as a like a cardstock from this Americana pack. I just went ahead and cut out the cards and tore out that base piece. I also have two clusters left over from, and I think these are the last clusters from our No Fuss clustering class. It is over, but it is available on the replay. Now, when I said that a couple days ago, I do have to say that it is still available for purchase on the replay. I've seen a lot of people coming in and trying to, sneak into the group. You can't. It's a paid content class. So I also have the leftover papers, the last little pieces of paper from this kit that I've been working for the class. Then I have the cardstock left over from yesterday, and I have my Dusty Attic crisscross stencil along with some tattered rose distress ink, and then lastly I'm going to spray my Dina Wakley gloss spray in Ancient. Now, the crisscross stencil is available in my shop if you guys are interested in this stencil. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off that little dot for my like the hangy hole for the base piece, and then I'm going to trim my photos down. Now, this photo here, because of my face. I couldn't trim it down any smaller than 4 7/8 and 3 7/8 and 5 7/8. So it just wasn't going to work. Well, my green mat here is only 3.5 plus the branding strip. So I'm going to go off camera and fix that. I also fussy cut out all the leaves from those cut apart cards. That's all I wanted from them, was those leaves to add that peachy pink in. And then what I did for the branding strip is I just took some forest moss and colored it in, and by the time I put my photo on top, you can't even tell the difference. I went ahead and I inked the edges all the way around just to make it kind of blend in a little bit. But yeah, I just inked all of it, and voila, we are done. So I'm going to go ahead and put the photo mats together and then get this layout put together. I have a feeling I just went into slow-mo. That's just crazy. No, I'm not. That's how slow I'm going, you guys. That's so strange. Anyways, I did decide that I'm going to put this on the vertical. I just wanted my photos more over in the dead space, and I wanted more of the stripes showing. But because of my clusters, I don't think that that's going to happen. Now, I also decided that I'm going to put both of the clusters all on the left side. Now, these are just super cute photos of me and 3 of my kids out on our back patio for breakfast. It was such a beautiful morning and so gorgeous that we took everything outside and had breakfast outside. Of course, my son is still wrapped in his blanket and all that stuff, but he really didn't need it. I think he was just using it because our chairs, I hadn't put out the cushions yet for our chairs. So, yeah, actually, I think we just got back from a vacation, and I take the cushions off so the puppies don't eat the cushions. So I think that's what happened. I'll have to check the date of when exactly this was to see if we just got back from a vacation. But I love doing this with my kids. I love, being spontaneous and going out. I also think that we put together some chicken skewers that day too and had them outside as well. So super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything down. I just left all of my photos down so I knew where to start putting my striped piece. And then I'm going to put everything back together just so that way I can figure out where everything's going to go so I can mark it and then put, and then be able to do my stenciling. I don't want to do stenciling all over because I just want a sprinkling of the stenciling behind my clusters. And so I like doing this portion of it instead of just guessing, and then I have to go back and try to re-stencil. I think that trying to do it this way, it's a little more work up front, but then it's also is more rewarding because then you don't have to go back after you've added everything back in to extend it or make it go out farther. Because you already knew exactly where it needed to go. Now also too, I was doing this stencil and coloring because the original clusters do not have a lot of color. I mean, they are so muted and pale. I wanted to add some color, and so when I was looking for a base piece, this base piece was the absolute right color. But again, not adding any color at all into my clusters until I flipped across to the cut apart sheet, and that peachy pale pink was absolutely perfect. It went really well with what I had going on, and then all those greens went really well with what I already had going on. So I thought it was the perfect amount of color and the perfect shade of color to add to my clusters. And it's also not too bold. It didn't try to change the feel of the clusters at all. So I just very lightly marked where my photos were going to go, and also marked where my clusters were going to go by a couple, 2 to 3 reference points. I like to do 2 or 3. I don't like to just do 1, because then I know the arch of how I want it to go, instead of just this is how tall, but then I don't know how far over, or I don't know how far of anything. So I like to do 2 or 3 reference points. So I know where to put my stenciling. And then I'm just going to use those reference points to put everything back together. Now this is where it comes super fast, super fast. I do have to say that for some reason, my clusters end up gapping farther away than I wanted them to in the center. See, I have that big old gap. I don't know how that happened. I must have shifted somewhere, but I have all of this greenery that I wanted to tuck and weave in anyways. So it worked out perfect. So I'm going to fill that gap using this greenery and making sure that some of this stuff, some of the pink stuff actually shows through. But like I said, it's such a pale pinky peach that it's really not very noticeable. And I just love how, even though these were all square elements, they all went together beautifully. Now that cluster I just put on top of my head, I don't even realize that it looks like an extension of my head until I have everything liquid glued down and everything. It's one of those things that, yeah, I should have thought about that, but it's the photo, it's not the cluster or anything. The cluster looks great right there, but the photo is what makes it kind of look wonky. But I'm going to leave it. That's the way that I wanted it, and that's what it is. I am going to go and look at the photo and see if maybe I had cut off too much, or if I can change it. Sometimes when I do at-home prints, and I'm not sure if this one was or not. I think it was, because this was an impromptu breakfast. So I think I just took it to myself, to my Epson PictureMate. And sometimes when I do that from my cell phone, it blows it up just a hair around all the edges. And then from my computer, I can adjust that and all that stuff. So I'm going to have to take a look at this picture and see if this is one of those. And if not, I can replace it just because of the fact, this is what I'm noticing, my little whoopsie, but I did have, the hearts were represented by by this crosses and stuff like that. But anyways, I don't have the photo, nothing's glued on top of the photo. So I can just tuck another one right on top of the photo that I already have. And lastly, I'm going to add some very light sprinkling. I don't want to over sprinkle. This is not meant to be a grunge layout. This is more meant to be, a light and airy layout. And so, I wanted to just add a little bit of sprinkling, just as if I was going to add some enamel dots. And there it is. I absolutely love how this turned out and came together. I love making clusters work for my layouts. Granted, these ones were color specific. It wasn't a whole rainbow to choose from, but I still really do like, trying to figure out how to make clusters. Now, I don't always make clusters off to the side and then try to figure them out. I don't do that. But for this class, it was a great fun challenge. I really did enjoy creating the clusters and then showing you guys how to use them on a layout. That's been a blast. And the last two, I've had to get a little creative with, so that also shows how to add on. So anyways, thank you so much for this. I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really had a blast with this sketch. Don't forget to check out the 2 links down below. And here are 2 more videos for Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 days of sketches if you're interested in watching. Thanks, you guys. Bye.